In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at 3 clipping techniques in Adobe InDesign. So I'm first going to start out with the trace edges option. I'm going to add a image, and the thing here is that it's best to have a clear distinction between the background and the foreground. So this here is a JPEG image of a black silhouette of a fish with a white background. And once you have imported that image, with the image still selected, you can go to Object and then choose Clipping Path Options. And here in the Clipping Path Options, we're going to choose Detect Edges. And you can see it's already detecting some edges. Now, detect edges in InDesign can be really finicky, and it really depends on the image you're using if this will work like you want it to work. But say you have a nice image with a clear distinction between the background and the foreground, you can then play around with the threshold, but in this case, because it's just black and white, that's not really necessary. You can increase or decrease the tolerance. You can say you want to include inside edges in case you have an inside edge which you want to be included, which in this case isn't really necessary. And then once you're happy, you press OK. Now, the edges are detected or traced. So what we can do now is just drag in an image on top of the detected edges, and you can see the plus sign at my cursor. And if you then release, the image has now been added inside of your detected traced edges. And in the effects window, which if it isn't visible, you can go to window and then choose effects. You can say you want to add certain effects to it. When you press this, add an effect, you can then say maybe you want to drop shadow. And then here you can play around with the drop shadow. You do have to select your object first, so select it and then add a drop shadow. And you can see here what happens if you do. You can also choose an inner shadow if that's more to your liking, and then play around with the inner shadow settings, maybe increase or decrease the opacity, and do whatever you want to do to make it to your liking, and then press OK. So that's the first option. Oh yeah, you can drag your image, your traced edges inside selection by just dragging it around. But that's our first way to have a sort of clipping inside of InDesign by using the trace edges. Now I'm going to make a new page, and then here we're going to take a look at the second option, which is a combination of Illustrator and InDesign, because you cannot add vector images directly into InDesign. You will first have to go to Illustrator. And I have here a vector image of a cat silhouette. So you just drag your vector image into Illustrator and then you select everything. Press Ctrl Command C to copy it, go back to InDesign and then press Ctrl Command V to paste it. And the same as before, here we do not have to detect edges because it's a vector image. We can just drag our image into the vector image. And as you can see here, the image has been added. Here you can right click and choose fitting, and then maybe you want content aware fit, or you want to fit the frame or the image proportionally, whatever you would like to do. And then also again, if you have this one selected, you can press in the effects window to add an effect. Maybe a drop shadow, maybe an inner shadow, maybe both of them. Something you can also play around with, but this is the second option. Copy paste an image, a vector image from Illustrator into InDesign and then just drag your image inside of it. Now let's make another page. And this last one, I'm just going to add an image like this. And here we can make a selection using our pen tool. And we can just make a rough selection around our model here. And when you have your selection complete, you take your selection tool, you select the image, you right click and choose cut. And now you select your trace you made with your pen tool, then you right click and you select paste into. As simple as that, your image has now been pasted into the selection you made with your pen tool. You can also make a selection with the ellipse tool or the rectangle tool, whatever you would like, and then paste your image into after you have cut it. And again, here in the effects window, give it a drop shadow or an inner shadow or whatever you would like to have for your image. So, 3 techniques which you can use in Adobe InDesign. That was a quick tutorial featuring 3 clipping techniques in Adobe InDesign. Be sure to let me know in the comments below if you liked the video, press the like button if you did, press the subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos. I have new ones going live every week. And for now, thank you for watching my video, stay creative, and I hope to see you in the next one.